Hi everyone, Nancy here. It is June 18, 2020, and what time is it? It is 11:24 in the morning, and I'm gonna make some brownies where you don't require any chocolate. You just need cocoa powder, and I will tell you about the other ingredients. I found this ingredient, I was looking for how to make brownies without any cocoa powder, and I came across this one video. I will have the link for you in the description box so that you can go and check it out. And I kind of changed up the sorry guys, the measurements. So anyway, this is what it's called for. The ingredients that I'm going to tell you is what the recipe calls for. Alright, so we have here, okay, let me get closer to you. 1¼ cup of melted unsalted butter, 2½ cups of sugar, 1 2/3 cup of cocoa powder, half a teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 4 eggs, and 1 cup of flour. And this is what I did. I'm going to tell you how I changed up the ingredients as I go along, okay? Alright guys, so bear with me because, I'm not used to baking and talking at the same time because it distracts me. What I'm going to do is, I wrote down what the person did, and so first they put the sugar, number one. Like I said, they called for 2½ cups of sugar, and that's too much for 1 cup of flour. That's way too much. So what I did was I just cut it down to 1 cup of sugar, which is still too much for the amount of flour that I'm going to be using. But anyway, I'm just going to follow the recipe as close as possible to what the person said in the video. Alright, so first they put the sugar in here. So I'm using blonde pure cane organic sugar, okay? The sugar that was used in the recipe was regular white granulated sugar, right? So there's the sugar, goes in there. Oops, it drops up. Okay, and then they added the salt. So here is the salt. This is sea salt, okay? And here's the sugar. And this is sea salt. And the sea salt, there's a half a teaspoon of sea salt. Well, I use sea salt, right? So just put that in there. Half a teaspoon of sea salt, or regular salt if that's what you're using. And then what else did she put in here? The cocoa powder. Okay, so the cocoa powder. What does she say here? Where are you? Okay, 1 2/3 cups of cocoa powder, which is way overboard. All you need is a small amount. I'm using 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. Okay, this is Dutch processed cocoa powder. Okay, it's very rich and really strong. And even if you're using the regular cocoa powder, you don't need a lot. You need a very small amount. Okay, so don't use what did she say here? 1 2/3 cups of cocoa powder. No, 1 cup and 2/3, that's too much. So this is only a quarter here. This is a quarter, so I'm going to put that in there. Okay. Alright, so the next, melted butter. Over here I'm melting some butter, so I'm just going to pour it into the cup so that you can see it. Ooh, there's a little bit more. There's just above a cup. Okay, yes, this is, yeah, I have like a cup and 1/4. Here's the cup right here. And then up there, that's like a quarter. Anyway, so I'm just gonna, stick that in there. Don't use a microwave to warm up anything, guys. Don't do that. It just destroys your food. Warm it up on the stove. I just warmed this up in a tiny pot on the stove. Okay? Okay. Put that there. Now I have to wash my hands because I got buttery. I got butter on my fingers. So what's next after the butter? Oh yes, the recipe calls for unsalted butter. I'm using salted butter. I do have unsalted butter, but I don't know, for whatever reason I just took out the, I wanted to go with the salted butter, so I took out salted butter. But the recipe calls for unsalted butter. And also, another thing is that this recipe calls for too much butter. Let me see, what did she say here? Where's the butter? Okay, 1 1/4 cups of unsalted butter. But I guess that's just what I did right now by mistake. So we'll see how that turns out. But maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's okay. So I just put that in there. And, okay, now we have to stir it well. So there's the mixture. Yeah, we'll stir that. You might want to fast forward this. Just fast forward it if you're getting bored. Here's what it looks like. Hope you can see it. Alright, okay, so we have the sugar, the salt, cocoa powder, melted butter. Okay, next we add in the vanilla. Now, I ran out of vanilla. I have almond, and here's almond. I have some lemon, but I think I'm going to go with the almond instead. So I'm going to use this almond. And 2 teaspoons of the extract. So if it were vanilla, then it would be 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Okay, where are you? Teaspoon. There we go. One, 2. Okay, we put this away, or put it out of the way. Then, what else? We add the eggs. So we have 4 eggs. Here are the eggs, 4 eggs. Alright, so we have to turn on the water because you don't want to keep eggs, you know, the residue of eggs just sitting in a container, because you know what happens, the egg's going to harden up. The egg is going to harden up, and then it's going to be hard for you to remove. Okay, so here is the mixture, but there's still something else we have to put in here. I hope you can see it. Okay. I have a piece of lint. Okay. Then, I think it's the flour. Okay, we have that, vanilla, eggs. Okay, now we have to add the flour. And the flour is right here. Okay, and how much flour is in here? How much flour? Okay, so the recipe called for 1 cup of flour, but I added in a little bit more. I added in 1 cup and 3/4 of flour. That's what I did. So we're going to put this in here now. Okay, now we're going to mix it. Once again, you might want to fast forward this. Okay, hold on. In the recipe, the person in the video, they weren't using like an electric beater. They were just using, you know, a spoon or a spatula to mix the, to blend the ingredients together. But if you want to use a mixer, then you might want to. I might want to do that because the sugar that I'm using, the granules are really large. So if I want the sugar to mix very well, I think I'm going to have to use, I might have to use the beater. But then again, not all recipes, you know, call for a beater because it might affect the way your product or your item or your bread or your whatever you're baking is going to turn out. So yeah. That smells good. So you see how dark the chocolate is? You don't need that much chocolate, like cocoa. You know, you don't need, how much did she say? She said 1 cup and then 2/3 of a cup. 1 2/3 of a cup of cocoa? That's insane. That's a waste of cocoa. It's not necessary. But if you can get Dutch processed cocoa, make sure that you can get it because you need like a really, you don't need a lot. You just need so little, and the flavor is so concentrated, guys. It's so strong. It's so strong, and you're not gonna need like a ton of cocoa just to get your brownie or your cake or your muffins. Well, I don't think I'm gonna need the beater because I don't feel the sugar, the granules. I don't feel it. But I need to mix this very well. I was thinking about adding some dry fruit like almonds and cashews and pecans and Brazil nuts and macadamia nuts, but I think I forgot. But I still have them over here, but I would have to crush them up. And I don't have any time to crush them up right now because I'm filming. So this looks really nice, but I have some flour, some white flour. I guess because there's still white flour around here. Anyway, so now this is ready. This is ready. Let me get this out of the way. It's ready to be put into a pan like this. Can you guys see the pan? Let me see. Okay, you guys can see the pan. Also, I'm hoping that you were able to see the. Like, I'm hoping that I wasn't showing you the contents like so close this way where maybe you couldn't see. Maybe could you see? Let me see. I hope I was showing you properly. Because I'm so afraid that I was showing you like at an angle where you couldn't see what's inside, like maybe over here. Let me see. Anyway, maybe you could see. Anyway, so what I did, oh my fingers are buttery now because there's butter around here. What I did was I took some wax paper, okay, that's wax paper, and I put it in, you know, I think this is an 8-inch pan, like across or around, I don't know. I think it's 8 inches. And but I had to take some butter, like with a small piece of paper, like a paper towel. Oops, that's chocolate, guys. My fingers have chocolate on it. Put some melted butter here, and then rub some of the butter along the edges of, like the exposed parts of the pan. See, you don't need to put any butter here because this is covering the pan. But in these parts here, you need to put butter, because if the brownie rises up too high and it's going to come here, like it's going to touch the edges of the pan, it's going to stick. It's going to stick to the pan, so that when you take it out, it's going to be a little bit difficult and it might break apart. Alright, so just take some, when you melt your butter, you take a piece of paper towel and you dip it in there, and you just, you know, rub the edges of the pan, okay? So my fingers got all buttery again. Oh shoot, I forgot to turn on the oven again, guys. It's supposed to be at 300. This recipe, it says you put it to 340 degrees, but normally it's 350 degrees. But I'm going to follow what they say. I'm going to put it at 340 degrees, and they say to leave it in the oven for 30 to 35 minutes, okay? And when it's done, I will show you once the brownie is done, I will show you what it's like. And by the way, yes, I have to pour it. Oh, look, guys, look what I'm doing. Look at this. Look at this. Look. You see, there's white stuff in here. That's the oh, brother. It's the residue from the rest of the flour that keeps falling in there. Okay, I'm just gonna get another spatula. I'll get this one. That's no good. My mother would get mad at me. Because my parents would get mad at me if they saw me baking like this. They're like, what's the matter with you? You don't bake like that. Alright, so put that in there. You know, a lot of air bubbles, guys. Alright, okay. Move this out of the way. Okay, let me see. Can you guys see okay over there? Let me see. Put this over here. Right there? Yes, I think you can see. Okay, so here we go. Oh boy, this part right here is bending. There we go. I hope it stays. Here we go. Guys, I'm right-handed, so this is difficult for me. But lately, I don't know, for months and months and months, no, not months, but for a few years, maybe like, I don't know, 6 years, for some reason, I've been doing things with my left hand. But this position here, see, this is my right hand, right? And holding something this heavy, like this, with my left hand is hard. But normally, for some reason, for whatever reason, I've become ambidextrous to some degree. And I don't know why. It's just, I don't know why. Just suddenly I can do things with my left hand that I normally do with my right hand. My father's ambidextrous. He can do everything with both of his hands. He can write with his right, he's left-handed, but he can write with his right hand and left hand, you know, and do a lot of things with both of his hands. Yes. Oh, and by the way, you're supposed to put your mixture into a rectangle or square pan. And I don't have a rectangle or square pan that is small enough to, you know, fit this. We have big ones, but not like small squares. Okay, let me turn on the fan. I mean the oven. 340. There we go. Okay. Anything in the oven? Okay, nothing in the oven. You must always. Whoop. Okay. I just dropped the spoon. You want to see it? It's right here. So I've got to put it there. Okay. Do like this to remove the air bubbles. Like that. Okay. I would like, can you see it? Yeah, you can see it. Okay, you can see it. Okay guys, so I'm going to turn this off right now, and then I will film again for you when it's done, and I will tell you how it turned out. I don't think I'll be able to taste it. I'll just wait. I guess I can wait, and then at that point I can film and then tell you how it came out. Yep. Oh, and by the way, the cake that I made that I said that I couldn't stand, that I didn't like it, and I like it now. That's the one that I made from this one other video that I learned, that I said it turned out like water. It tasted like water, and the icing was horrible, but actually it turned out to be really yummy after, because I acquired a taste for it. I forced myself, so now I like it. Anyway, so I'm gonna have a video. I'm gonna have the link for you for that cake in the link below, and I will also have, actually I won't do that. I was gonna say that I'm gonna have the link for the video where I learned how to make that cake also in the link below, but you will see that link in the video for the cake that I made. Okay guys, so I guess that's it, and thanks for coming. Don't forget to click on subscribe. If you like this video, give it a like, click on subscribe, and click on the bell button so that you will be notified for each time that I upload a video. Alright guys, if you're gonna try this out, then let me know, and tell me how things turned out for you. If you're watching on Facebook, yeah, I welcome you to post your experiment, and I would like to see how things turned out for you. Okay guys, alright. God bless you. Ciao, ciao. See you later.